Ladies and gentlemen, what we just witnessed is not normal. Undoubtedly the greatest World Cup and the greatest World Cup final that I've personally witnessed in my lifetime. And the pendulum that was the final match was ebbing and flowing in ways that were impossible to keep up. For Argentinian and French natives, I can only imagine the actual heart attacks overwhelmingly outperformed the expected heart attacks. As for the neutrals, it was perfect. Unreal. Today we're going to be reviewing Argentina's journey to the World Cup final, the mentality and ability of the man who is almost guaranteed to dominate world football for years to come, the match itself, as well as a few bits and pieces here and there. In doing so, we may be able to answer the question of the day: how did Argentina win the 2022 World Cup final? Welcome to Football Legacy. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notifications because we have a lot more coming. Argentina's World Cup qualifying campaign kicked off on the 8th of October 2020. 17 games later, 11 wins, 6 draws and 0 losses had them in blistering form in the lead up to the finals. Along with Brazil, they were the only undefeated team in the CONMEBOL qualifiers. And in the lead up to this tournament, it really did seem that there was something in the air. Lionel Scaloni was still in charge. At 44 years of age, he was the youngest manager going into this tournament, and already one of the most successful on the international stage. The emergence of a 21-year-old Enzo Fernandez was something of beauty. After impressing at River Plate, he moved over to Benfica in June of 2022 and continued his upward trajectory. Also, he only had 3 international appearances before his World Cup. I know, right? By the looks of how he was playing, it was hard to tell. Where is Messi? That's what we were all asking ourselves for a big portion of 2021 and early 2022. But after that, our guy swiftly woke up and decided he was going to start ending careers again. 12 goals and 14 assists in 20 appearances for PSG at the season's midway point, and a renewed sense of purpose meant that it was about to be a long day for all those who crossed his path in Qatar. Angel Di Maria, Rodrigo De Paul, Lautaro Martinez are all classy players, but were either injured or in patchy form by the regular season break. Argentina was expected to do well in the tournament, but they could have just as easily completely fallen apart, and few would have been surprised. The 2022 World Cup. We'll get into how Argentina set up in a bit, but first I want to briefly go over their journey to the finals. Going into the World Cup, Argentina were on an absolute hot streak, 36 games unbeaten, 75 goals scored and 17 goals conceded. Up against Saudi Arabia first, I don't think anyone saw anything other than a win for Scaloni's men, especially after Messi slotted home from a penalty and Argentina proceeded to pepper the Saudi goal. Only problem was that they failed to stand onside throughout all of this. Saudi Arabia made them pay. 37 games, 1 loss. The dream was beginning to crumble almost as soon as it began, it seemed. Only once in World Cup history has a team managed to win the World Cup after going down in their first match. That was Spain in 2010. Argentina were now forced to emulate them if they wanted their dream to live on. Luckily, they were up for it. 2 straight wins against Mexico and Poland ensured their qualification for the knockouts. First came Australia, a routine victory. Then came the Netherlands, anything but. They surged to a 2-0 lead by the 73rd minute, but after a few lapses in concentration, the Dutch drew level in their 101st minute and took the game to pens. Can you imagine? This was a feisty affair. The Netherlands had come under fire throughout this tournament due to how Van Gaal had seemingly abandoned many of the pillars of total football, especially against Argentina. Long balls, hit and pray, you know the deal. The ugliness wasn't limited to the field of play, scuffles across the pitch, words being exchanged before and after the match. And most significantly, during the penalty shootout itself, the Dutch took quite a few liberties before each Argentine player made the long walk to the spot, getting up in their faces as an intimidation tactic. As we can see here, it didn't work. Argentina got to the semis against a team that can no longer be referred to as dark horses. Croatia seems to be most of the team's kryptonite in knockout football, which is probably hard to believe for some, especially after hearing what the final score was, 3-0. Argentina gave up possession for most of the match in this one, instead choosing to pick their punches with intricacy, and they did just that. The standout goal for me was the third, and it came from Julian Alvarez. Messi turned back time and robbed Joško Vardiol, arguably the defender of the tournament, of his dignity, and tied it up for his young compatriot, leaving doubt that Argentina would get their shot at exercising their World Cup final demons. Because of all of this, I'll only be going over the finals. In terms of personnel, there were no real surprises here. We all had seen the 433 before. But something we hadn't seen all too much of is this: Angel Di Maria. Not the fact that he's on the pitch, he is an all-time player and one of Argentina's greatest ever. No, it's the fact that he's actually here, on the left. Something we've rarely seen of him for Argentina. We'll get into the significance of that in a second. As is usually the case, the team was pretty much built around Messi. In attack, there would always be off-the-ball movement that both kept the opposing player occupied and offered him passing options, which is kind of an irrelevant phrase when it comes to Messi. His accuracy makes everyone a passing option, even if they're being marked. In defense, even though he did apply some pressure, Alvarez and De Paul did most of Messi's pressing for him, freeing him up to block passing lanes and analyze the game at his own pace. It was some classy game management by Scaloni, up until the 81st minute. The final of all finals. As I've already said, Argentina surged ahead to a 2-goal lead with no reply in the first half, and were looking beyond comfortable. France was chasing shadows. But Didier Deschamps didn't become one of French football's greatest icons for no reason. I think we need to talk more about how he managed to bring France all the way to pens in the final, despite the drama and mass hospitalization that France experienced in the lead-up to this tournament. In a truly rare turn of events, he made 2 substitutions 5 minutes before halftime. Olivier Giroud and Ousmane Dembele for Kolo Muani and Marcus Thuram. This drastically changed France's shape. The instructions from Deschamps were also clear in having Griezmann drop back to strengthen the midfield that was being overrun. As a result, France were much more competitive in the second half. But perhaps the most significant of alterations by Deschamps was putting the golden boy up top as the lone striker. 97 seconds. That's all it took. 97 seconds was all he needed to rip up the script. In the 80th minute, the game was 2-0. In the 82nd minute, the game was 2-2. The world was stunned. Argentina's celebration was halted. We now had a game on our hands. Argentina keeps pushing, and who else but Messi puts them ahead. Surely now it's over. Kylian Mbappe scored his hat-trick. It would have made a great story, but the destiny of another man on that pitch was just far too strong to be denied. Argentina, no longer cursed, came away as kings of the world. And then we have Lionel Messi. What on earth is there to be said about this man that hasn't already been said? All of that on top of being a 7-time Ballon d'Or winner, and already considered to be one of the greatest players to ever play this amazing game. At this point, there's no need to argue anymore. He's magic. That's all we can really say. He's magic. Congrats to Argentina. Here's to the 3rd star. What do you think about this year's World Cup winner? Comment down below and let us know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.